Image, your beats are so fire.
What is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing today? It is Saturday night, and we are live. We are live. Steelers just got finished playing their game against the Bengals. We're going to talk about it. Hope everyone's having a good night. Appreciate you if you're in the chat. Make sure there is a link in the chat for if you'd like to donate to the show, help us grow the show. Really appreciate it. My two co-hosts are not here today. I guess they're sleeping. It's East Coast time, but they had a game earlier. Ravens getting that win versus the Browns. We're going to talk about the Steelers game. We're going to talk about is Mike Tomlin on the hot seat? What the Steelers will be doing about the quarterback issue, their issue currently right now with George Pickens. We're going to talk all that stuff. So appreciate you stopping by if you are here hanging out. Star Drew, how you doing? Yeah, Steelers couldn't win. It kind of sucks. But there's some silver lining that I think people are not talking about, and I think certain fan base is not happy about it, and we're going to talk about it as I clean my glasses. So we're going to talk about it. But yes, Steelers lose to the Bengals 19-17. Get that up real quick. There we go. Steelers lose 1917 to the Bengals. And there's kind of finger pointing going around right now within Steelers Nation with this loss. And we're going to get into it real quick. But Steelers lose. Joe Burrow threw 46 times, 277 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Russell Wilson, 17 for 31, 148 yards, one touchdown. Najee Harris, 36 yards, one touchdown. Prop Farmer, 85 yards, one touchdown. Jamar Chase with 96 yards, one touchdown. This wasn't a game that maybe we thought we were going to get. Maybe we thought due to the last one we get a higher score game. But obviously that didn't happen. And the game really came down to missed opportunities. And some of those missed opportunities was Calvin Austin fumbling the ball on a punt return, not getting out of bounds. Russell Wilson running the ball with about 30 seconds left, 45 seconds left. Steelers having one timeout, not getting out of bounds, and instead keeping it in bounds, running the ball, and losing time off the clock, forcing them to take a timeout. A missed shot down the field from George Pickens that they had, where Russ, threw the ball and might have had could have had a first down, get him into field goal range and be able to kick the field goal for the win. Balls going through Pickens' hands. So it was just a lot of things that happened. Shout out to what up, Jay? How you doing today? Big Reg, what up? How y'all doing? Oh, why is this sitting so high? Good Lord. But Steelers, and we'll talk. We'll kind of get into the Tomlin situation because I think Steeler fans are kind of over exaggerating, and I think a lot of fans are over exaggerating right now. Sorry, I need a drink. We were not projected to finish second in the AFC North. We were even projected to make the playoffs. We got in there. We were playing well. We had some losses that I think that we could go back. Those are wins we should get Cowboys, Indianapolis. Those are wins that we should get back, and we probably are not in this position. We probably win the division easily, but that's neither here or there. Um, but we weren't even projected to finish 500. You know, we finished 10-7, 3 games over 500. You know, we were at one point 10-3 with a huge grip on the division, and I won't blame scheduling, but I will say that Steelers had one of the toughest roads in the back end of their schedule, and I think those final 4 games were toughest I of any team. Um, I think we had been a more better, a little bit better team. We could have came out with maybe 1 or 2 wins, um, but that game, these games, and I said this to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, when you look at these games for the Steelers, these last 4 games, you're going into the third quarter, the third quarter versus the Eagles, and you're down, uh, you're down, uh, you're down 1 score, and you go into the half, you're down 4 points. Um, you're in the third quarter, you're down 7, but you don't score any points. They score another touchdown on you, and it looks like okay, another it was a blowout loss. You go to the next game after that, versus the Ravens, and you go into that third quarter, and it's 24-17. You're down 7. You're not getting blown out. You're down 7. Fourth quarter, they score 10 points, and it looks like a blowout, 34-17. And then you go into the Chiefs game, and you're down in the third quarter. You're down 10-6, 6 points. It's 16-10. You're in that game, and Chiefs rattle off 13 points in the fourth quarter. Um, and you go into this game, and same thing. You're in the third quarter. You're going into the third quarter. You're down 6 points. They only kick field goals from that point on. Um, you get it within a scoring distance, and you lose this game. I think that for me as a Steelers fan, yes, there are some concerning things, but in each one of those games, we're in the game. We're down 1 score. We're not getting blown out. And I know, fans love the blow thing, exaggerate, with the final score, but you know, all those games. I'm just looking at why this is all messed up. Sorry, that bugs me when I see it. What the heck? I don't even know what that was, but it was bugging me. Um, we're in all these games, and we have an opportunity to take leads, tie the game up, and win these games. And so, as a Steelers fan right now, I know a lot of people are upset. I know a lot of people are mad, but you got to look at it from the point of view of we weren't even supposed to be in this position. We were supposed to be a fourth place team that wasn't going to finish over 500. We finished 3 games over 500. We had a line that everybody said was the worst in the AFC North, probably worse in the AFC, and we were able to keep our quarterback clean somewhat. Um, we don't really have a second wide receiver. You know, we brought in Williams. We have Van Jefferson, who just doesn't even play at all. Technically, our second wide receiver is our tight end, Pat Fryermuth, and our running game, Najee Harris, even though he went over 1,000 yards, doesn't really even get consistent yards. And with our defense as good as it is, our corners haven't been great, and yet we were still in the AFC North playoff hunt. We were in the top 3. of the playoff hunt, and we're going to finish fifth, or sorry, sixth now. I believe we will be finishing sixth unless Denver loses, or not Denver, Los Angeles loses, and they would go to sixth, and we would go to fifth. And I'll talk about that because I think Baltimore's kind of scared, but we'll talk about it because I know Baltimore fans have already been in the Discord. I'll bring it on, bring it on. Okay, cool. We'll talk about that. Um, they said the power automator is just that good. Wish she had better offensive players. And I think Jay, I'll talk about that. Fans right now are just like fire him, fire everybody. He's mediocre. He's this, and that. Let me remind people something. I think a lot of people forget, and their memory is so skewed. When we had Big Ben and we had Le'Veon Bell and we had Antonio Brown and we had Martavis Bryant and we had all these guys, our defense was horrible. Everybody could score on us. When we had a good defense and our offense was somewhat good, we were running into the Patriots, or we were running, for some reason the Steelers had a hard time with the Jaguars, but we were losing to the Patriots, and we weren't able to get that past that hump. And then when we lost all our pieces, when Antonio Brown requested a trade, Le'Veon Bell sat out and took off to another team, we still finished above 500. We still made the playoffs. But who do we have? We had nobody good. Chase Claypool, we didn't have a good. We've never and I think Steeler fans are so right now so skewed because they're like, oh, it's about Super Bowls. Well, when Bill Cowher was a coach, we weren't winning Super Bowls. And sorry to tell you, he got lucky with the last one he won because we broke Carson Palmer's leg, and then we outplayed Peyton Manning, and then we ran into Jake Plummer in the AFC Championship game, and then we got lucky in the Super Bowl because Ben didn't play particularly well at all. So take that Super Bowl how you want it, and then Bill Cowher goes 8-8 with that same team the next year and doesn't even make the playoffs. So I love how people love to bring up Bill Cowher and he was always this great coach. Was losing AFC Championship games at home every time. So I don't want to really hear that, but our team, we're like still, and I argue with fans of other teams. We're technically still in a rebuilding time. Even though we have George Pickens, nobody thought he was going to be this good. Najee Harris, people were like not the highest on him. Obviously TJ Watt's, a good player. Cam Hayward, defensively, but offensively, like after Ben retired, even before it in the 2 years before, we weren't good offensively. He could barely throw it down the field. He could barely, get the ball 15 yards up the field. And who he was throwing to, the players that we were like scraps, pretty much. Sorry, Chase Claypool's not even in the league anymore, so he was scrap. And we're starting to now get offensively better. Um, so Tomlin hasn't had much to work with, and fans want him gone already. Look, he choked away another year. Well, we weren't even supposed to be over 500 this year. We weren't even supposed to be in this position. Like, if you're truly being honest with yourself, after last year, we weren't even supposed to be in this position. So, did I think our team is better than what the record shows? Yeah, I think we are. I think we surprised a lot of people. I think there wasn't, other than the Chiefs game in that fourth quarter, every other game there wasn't really blowouts. If you want to say, well, the Ravens game, sure they beat us by 17, but like I said, going into the third quarter, we're down one score. We just then turned the ball over at a bad time after we get a pick, and if we go and score there, it's a different ball game, but we don't play what ifs. So we threw a bad pick at that moment, and it went downhill from there. It happens. But outside that Chiefs game, we were in all those games. and nobody, and you can't say any different because it's right there on paper. If in the second quarter they were up 30, and then we scored like 17 points, and we finished the game only down one score, yeah, I would say yeah, we were never really in that game. But in every third quarter that I just talked about in these last four games, we were down one score. We weren't getting blown out. We weren't getting our faces kicked in. We were just down one score, and a play here or there changes things. And I think that's what this Steelers year has been: is a play here or there changes things. And so I think that right now, I know a lot of people are upset. I know a lot of people are angry, mad, frustrated, and everything like that. But you have to look at it as what the truth is, and the truth is we haven't had a lot of good talent recently. We're kind of rebuilding, and I think we overachieved this year. I think last year wasn't an overachievement. I just think we did enough, but I think this year we kind of overachieved, but we've had talent to back it up to where we could see this happening, but it was like, can it happen? And we did pretty good. 10-7. It's just those last four games. We're 10-3. Now, if we had been like how the Bengals are right now, they're 9-8. You know, they were supposed to be first or second. The Browns were supposed to be better than us. You know, and we split with every team in the AFC North. We didn't sweep anybody this year. We split every game, every series with them. That that's common in this division because it's such a tight division. But being 10-7, that's what we weren't supposed to expect it to be like in that position. We're supposed to be like 8-9. We were supposed to be 7-10. We weren't supposed to be. Especially this back half. This back half really screwed us. But you have to play who's in front of you. I don't want to hear though about people saying, "Well, other teams had 10 games in 3 days." That's fine. I understand, but they didn't play the quality of teams that we had to play. Every team we play is either a Super Bowl favorite. All three teams actually. Matter of fact, let me take that back. All three of those teams are Super Bowl favorites. One of them was a preseason Super Bowl favorite. You cannot tell me any other team that played 10 games played that caliber of competitive of teams. They just did it, and that's you can't change my mind about that. So I don't want to hear it, any of that. But the silver lining here, if there's ever a team that could walk into a road game and beat a road team, it's a division rival team, and it's the Steelers playing Baltimore. Because, like I said, up until that third quarter of that game, Baltimore wasn't really doing much, and I laugh because Raven fans will be out there saying, "Oh, well, Lamar was, cooking you guys and all these things." I believe Lamar only had, I think he had the same passing as Russell Wilson. Yeah, he had less. He had 3 touchdowns. Uh, what carried you guys in that game was Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers. Apparently, Zay Flowers is hurt, got hurt. Is he gonna be ready for that game? You're gonna have to leave him heavily on Bateman, on Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, guys that really haven't played well in the playoffs. Derrick Henry has not played well in the playoffs and has not played well against the Steelers. Now, this game he did 24 carries, 162 yards. Can't lie, he carried that game. We're gonna see what happens, but I'm telling you right now, and Raven fans will lie through their teeth. They ain't really happy about seeing the Steelers or the Chargers because that can potentially be losses. And I know they're high and happy about it right now about winning the AFC North, but they ain't really happy about it. Possibly having to see the Steelers or the Chargers, two teams that know them well. But we'll get into the playoffs as they stand right now. And so here it is. You have the Kansas City Chiefs finishing first, 15-1. You have the Denver Broncos right now, 9-7, with the possibility of the Bengals getting in if the Raiders beat, I believe, who are the Raiders playing? My apologies. I didn't check to see who that was. But I know if the Raiders win, there's a possibility of the Bengals getting in, and we will see that right now. Chargers. So they got to beat the Chargers to get in for the Bengals. Um, but right now you have Denver, Buffalo. That's a tough game for Buffalo. I'm not gonna lie. You have Pittsburgh going to Baltimore, division rival game, divisional rival game, and you have the Chargers versus Houston. Houston does not look good. Chargers look like a better team, better defensively. Uh, Dolphins or Raiders get the eighth seed. I don't think is there. There's no eighth seed. I think it's only seven seeds. Because yeah, it's only there's no eighth seed. It's seven seed. Bengals get it because Bengals are now 9-8. So if Denver loses, Bengals slip in. If Miami and Denver lose, and Miami is playing the Jets, and then we will decide wild card weekend. So, um, I really won't get into the NFC side of things. This is AFC is more important to me. But looking at this, if I'm assuming right, top seed down here, three seed up here, this seed. I would have liked to play Houston because we stay away from KC. But we'll see what happens, how this shakes out. But it looks like we're going to Baltimore. And for me, again, silver lining, like you can sit there and say, well, it's Baltimore. They beat us last time, but we've beaten Baltimore. We walked into Baltimore and beat them. Um, and I think that if you're a Ravens fan, you can be confident. I think you should be confident. You possibly are the better team. We were like again, we weren't really supposed to be in this position, but you ain't happy about it. I don't think you want to see the Steelers, especially with your O line problems and what has messed up their O line, edge rushers. And to be honest with you, and I'm hoping this is what happens with the Steelers right now. This was a wake up call, and they don't play if the playoffs start on the 11th. They have 7 days. They have a whole week to get their stuff together. I'm hoping this was a kick in the pants that they need it, and that defense comes way better. I mean, they played well tonight. Like T Higgins got hurt in the third, but they limit a lot of damage. Um, Able to get some stops and big downs, and they limit Chase that second half. The problem is they were so deep in the hole. The Steelers were so deep in the hole, and their offense wasn't moving the ball well enough that they had issues. So for me, hopefully that this defense they're gonna have to play like, hey, we're gonna have to get takeaways, possibly get them close to where they can score points. Offensively, we definitely needed a kick in the pants, and they have a week to figure this out. They need to figure out what's going on with George Pickens because he had a lot of missed catches today. Balls going straight through his hand. Arguing with fans, and I think one second, and I think that's the stupid part about fandom too. That's so idiotic that you're at the game rooting for your team and you want to start yelling at your own players. Like I get it. Sometimes players make bonehead stuff moves. Sometimes they're not playing well. But why are you going to talk crap to them in the middle of the game? You want them focused on the game. You don't want them focused on you. Now, if this is a away game, that's a different story. Obviously, guys are gonna, fans are gonna try to get guys off the team. And I get it. Yeah, players need to be more disciplined. He needs to be more disciplined. But why are you, as you're arguing with your own team, you're the fan of your of your own a player of your of your you as a fan arguing with a player of your team. Like doesn't make any sense. So I think that was dumb. I think Russ needs to figure out what's going on with him. We pulled Justin Fields at 4-2. Russ was up to this point 6-1, and then he lost four in a row. So he's 6-5. Sucks, but I think you have to figure. I think, and someone tweeted this out that up tempo, the way they were doing up tempo, throwing to Fryermuth in the middle of the field, you have to come out and do that in the first part in the game. You can't just run, throw a pass on third down. You have to come out tempo, short passes, get the corners up, get the safeties up, and then you try to hit the long ball. They had an opportunity. George Pickens was open for that in that final play. If he catches that ball, they probably get up with maybe 2 seconds left to then kick a field, like to clock it and make a kick a field goal. So it was there. I think the throw could have been better for Russ. And people point out like, well, Pickens should have ran a better route, but he beat two defenders. Like you got to put that ball on him, and if he makes it that catch, we kick a field goal and win the game. But they got to figure out what's going on with George because he had two passes. He had like five passes go through his hand. He's targeted a lot, and he didn't make really any catches. So you got to figure out what's going on with him, and get him back into the game. Najee Harris got hurt, but he was back in there. You gotta figure that out. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to chip the edge rushers. You're gonna have to really play up tempo to get Russ to get the ball out quick to not take these sacks because that's what killed us tonight. And that's what killed us in the past is Russ taking sacks. I think Russ needs to make some better decisions. He had an opportunity to just throw the ball, clock the play clock, and be able to have more time to run it. Instead, he ran the ball, ran it in bounds. They tackled him. He clocked it, but it left us with 20 seconds. He throws that ball out. We still have about 35 to 40 seconds, maybe 37 seconds. But you have more time to try to make a play, and that's what you got to do. Wasn't worth getting 2 or 3 yards, but losing almost 15 seconds off the clock. So Russ has got to be better. Wide receivers got to get open. Line has to block. Things like that. Limit mistakes. But I'm hoping what this loss and these four losses do is it kind of kicks us in the ass, and moving forward, some things can change. Now, with that being said, they lost four in a row. There was a stat up, and I'll see if I can find it. Talking about the last 13 years, how Tomlin was 4 and I believe he was like 4-2 his first couple of years, got to two conference championships, won a Super Bowl. Um, eh, um, but after that, he's been, not good in the playoffs. Lost 5 straight playoff games, things like that. Um, is he going to be on the hot seat if he loses his playoff game? It depends. If they walk into Baltimore and Baltimore blows them out by like 45 points, I think changes are coming. I think he might be let go or he might get fired. If it's a close game and they lose by 3 points, a touchdown, maybe not. If they win, obviously, I think he's good. But I think um um I think that if he goes into this playoff game and just gets blown out, I think then yeah, I think the Steelers would probably uh would probably move on from Tomlin. And I think you have to. As good as a coach Tomlin is, um, I think that it's been the same issue every year. You were undefeated, you lost to Washington, then you go on a horrible run, you walk into against Cleveland, a team you should beat, and get blown out of the water. You again, some of the talent he hasn't had the greatest of talent, but you've had talent before and you didn't do anything with it. And I'll defend the fact that when they had Big Ben, Brown, Bell, Boswell, Bryant, the Killer Bees, they didn't have a good defense. The defense was not good at all. There's been speculation that Dick LeBeau left the Steelers because of Tomlin and things like that. And the Steelers are very good at keeping stuff in house and not really letting out. Like Antonio Brown was the biggest thing that happened that got let out and known to the public. But I think that it would be time for a change. As much as I like Tomlin, three coaches in almost since the '70s, and you're having the same problem that you've had the last few years. Again, he's a great coach, but something, I don't know what it is. Something has to change. And if you're not going to really put the money down on players, and you do bring in players and things don't change, it might be a coaching issue. Now, I think the biggest mistake the Steelers did um, was was let um, was let Brian Flores walk. I thought that was the hugest, dumbest thing in the world because Brian Flores had that team playing well, and I think that has been the biggest mistake the Steelers have made. They should have made him. They should. I have said it since the beginning. I've told Bronny. I've told Hendo. I've told Jose. I have told everybody. The thing they should have done is told Brian Flores, "You are the defensive head coach. You're the defensive coach. When Mike Tomlin leaves, you are the head coach. You will be promoted to head coach." And I think he would have stayed and made that defense really good. And then when Tomlin was ready to step down, he moved in, and I think he would have made that team really good. I think that is the biggest mistake the Steelers have made in this whole situation. Since and the thing is people like to blame Tomlin. Well, he hasn't done anything. Played against the Patriots for almost how many years? They couldn't get past them. Yes, the Jaguars. I think that I was talking to Brodney about this one time. I said the Jaguars loss in the playoffs and the Browns were probably are kind of Tomlin's fault. We should have been ready. We shouldn't have been looking past the Jaguars toward the Patriots that year, and that cost us. I think those. I think that I will put that on Tomlin, and I think the Browns wild card game. Uh, I, Bug, how bad? He's not that bad. I didn't like you're talking shit like oh my god they've been horrible this year. Like he's not that bad. It hasn't been that bad. But I think the play calling needs to a little bit. They need to use the middle of the field. So I don't know what your point of your comment was. Like, oh, how good is Arthur Smith? Like they've been okay. Russ at one point put up what 40 points through 4 touchdowns. Like they have he can call a good play. He can call a good game. Yes, you call it. Yes, you call a sneak on that play. Russ had it. He tripped over himself. What would you want him to call, Buck? Like what would you if you watch the video, the sneak is there and he has it. He tripped. And when he falls, he lands on his forearm, which puts him down. If he lifts his arm and just reaches the ball forward, they get the first down. That's not a bad play call on Arthur Smith. And then the next play, they run the play, and Jalen Warren gets stuffed. That's defense making a good play, but the Russ sneak, he had it. All he had to do is dive forward, and Russ fell. He stumbled forward, and his arm hit the ground. So I'm not really sure the point of your comment is. Like I'm not understanding it. Like that was a good call. If they get that first down, they what they got a field goal. Bengals got a field goal out of it. They probably don't get that field goal, but Russ, for whatever reason, same thing with going out of bounds, decided, hey, I have a wide opening because if you watch the replay, there's nobody in that gap. All he has to do is lunge forward, and he gets the first down. He literally stumbles, falls, and his forearm hits the ground, and he's down by contact, a yard short. I don't blame that on Arthur Smith. As a quarterback, you should have been able to. You should have been able to execute that sneak. I put that on Russ. So not really sure about your comment. Um, but the Steelers, they're in a again silver lining. They get to go to Baltimore, a team they know, a team they can beat on the road, a team that has trouble with edge rushers, a team that doesn't have the greatest, you know, defense. But you're gonna have to be mistake free, and you're going to have to stop Derrick Henry. I think that is the key to the game. The key to the game and the wins between the Ravens and Steelers is who rushes the ball better, who gets turnovers. And I think that is going to be the key to these games. So, and look, Jose is one of the biggest Ravens fans in the world. I mean, and I'm pretty sure he's puffing out his chest right now. He's got it puffed up, him and Hendo and everybody. And they're like, yeah, we'll take on the Steelers, and they should rightfully show they should. But I'm pretty sure if you asked them the honest truth, I don't think they want to see the Steelers because that would be the greatest thing ever for the Steelers to walk into Baltimore and beat the Ravens in Baltimore. First off, there'd probably be a riot. Jim Harbaugh would probably be fired. And and Jose would get on YouTube demanding for Jim Harbaugh to be fired. The Steelers walked in to beat him. See, they're gonna say that. Oh, we do want to see the Steelers. Okay, be careful what you ask for. It's a lot of. We don't know what's going on with Zay Flowers now. That sucks. Sucks. I don't ever wish injury on any player. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I didn't get to watch the game. Yeah, well, of course you want Harbaugh to be fired regardless. But for the Steelers to walk in and beat the Ravens in Baltimore, and they can do it. It's a team that can walk in there and beat them. But I think the key to this game, and we still have a lot of football tomorrow, so I don't want to, but I'm assuming it's going to be Baltimore Steelers, and the key to the game is going to be turnovers and who can run the ball. Because when Steelers were able to run the ball, get turnovers, we won the game. When the Ravens were able to run the ball, get turnovers, they won the game. It's as simple as that. And people will try to throw all this other stuff out there. It's as simple as that. Turnovers and be able to control the ball. That is going to be the key to this game if that is the playoff matchup. But we still got a lot of football. A lot of people are saying the Raiders are going to play their hearts out. And if they beat the Chargers, then Chargers go to Baltimore. We go to Houston. I think you should like your chances. You should be the favorite. I mean, that's not even a question. You guys should be the favorite, and after you lose, you should like your chances. But like I said, for the Steelers, we weren't even supposed to be in this position. People, a lot of Steelers fans are upset. Twitter is like on fire right now. But if I'm a Steelers fan and I'm being honest with myself, like we weren't really supposed to be in this position. It's supposed to be a rebuilding year again. Because thank you, Jose. That is Sasuke and Naruto. If you don't know about Naruto, it's a great anime. I wanted to change it up because I always have the my boring ass one. So I was like, I'll put this one up. Um, we weren't even supposed to be in this position. We were picked to finish fourth. We were picked to not make the playoffs. We were, all these things. And so I think as a Steelers fan, you gotta be fortunate. You gotta look at it. Now, the conversation I see a lot of is this whole like, well, we keep finishing not over 500, we never get good draft picks. The Steelers always draft good. Like when you look back at their drafts, like yeah, there's the Devin Bushes, and there's who was who was that guy? I can't remember his name. But there's a couple busts in there. Devin Bush was one of the big ones. Where we moved up to get him, things like that. But usually the Steelers draft good, and when they draft late, they draft great. A lot of our players are from late draft picks. You know, our two rookies on our line right now. We got who could say that their starting O line has two rookies playing decent, and they're just going to get better as time move on. A lot of teams can't say that. Now there's some things you got to figure out what you're going to do at the quarterback position if things go off the rails. Like I said, we go into the wild card weekend, we get blown out by Baltimore. Big changes are coming, I think. But we walk in there and we win, or it's a really close game. All right, now we got to figure out we're like one or two pieces away. The quarterback position, maybe another corner, maybe a better running back and things, and you work from there. Um, Go get the guy from Boise State. I think he'd be amazing as a Steeler. But and a number two wide receiver, a good number two wide receiver. But all focus now. This game was a kick in the pants. You now need to look forward to the playoffs. You need to get everybody on the same page. You need to talk to Pickens. You need to talk to Russ. You need to talk to the defense. Dante Jackson should be coming back. Hopefully, he'll probably be ready. He'll have 7 days to get ready. Most of our, Joey Porter Jr. is back. We get most of our defensive back, our defense back from injury, and you get ready. And offensively, you gotta tell you. I agree with the tweet that moving forward, the offense has to come out and just go tempo, even if it's no huddle, even if it's kind of a shallow huddle. You just got to go no tempo and get the ball out of Russ's hands so he doesn't get sacked, because that's what's been killing us. And our O line is as good as it's played. It's kind of digressed in the last 4 games, and you got to get that figured out if we want to make any noise in the playoffs. Um, a lot of doom and gloom right now on Twitter. Like I said, Steelers fans are kind of losing it. They're all over the place. Tomlin should be fired. They should put back in Justin Fields. I will agree that if now with the call with what Buck was saying about sneaking Russ, if you're gonna go for it on fourth, third down play, fourth down play, maybe you do bring Fields in there. But again, Russ, when he snuck that ball, all he had to do is lunge forward and he gets the first down. He trips, he stumbles, his arm hits the ground, they called him down. That's not on Arthur Smith's play call. That's on Russ. He should have executed that. So Russ needs to take a long look in the mirror over the next 7 days, because he hasn't played well, and he needs to decide. Hey, I agree with another tweet I saw. He might have played himself out of a contract these last 4 games. He hasn't played good. He might have played himself out of a contract, and he might have to take a 1-year deal from the Steelers to stay, and not a 3, because rumors was he wanted 3 years, $30 million. I don't know if that's going to happen. Not the way he's played the last couple of weeks. And if he doesn't play well in the playoffs, ain't nobody going to give him that money. Who's going to give him that money for a 36-year-old quarterback? I have to agree with Brodney, but Brodney was right. He plays half a good season. And I thought, oh, it's the back half. He's going to play well. Well, apparently these last 4 games, he didn't. And he proved Rodney right. He didn't play well. So he has to come out. I think this playoff game is huge for a lot of people. It's huge for Tomlin. It's huge for Russ because if they don't win or they don't lose by a field goal or something like that, I think Russ ain't gonna get a contract, and Tomlin might be out. And again, I like Tomlin as a coach. I love what he's done. I think he gets an unfair raw deal because of the circumstances of the talent of players he had around him, whether when he had the lack of on one side of the ball and the talent he's had to put in and make do with. But at some point, it does become tiresome that we fade out in the back end of our season going into the playoffs when we have had talent, you know. And I point to that Jaguars, the year that we lost to the Jaguars, and the year we lost to the Browns. Now you can say that team wasn't that good. I think you can say they were fraudulent, but you played who's in front of you. That Browns team wasn't great. We should have beat them, and you stunk it up. The Jaguars, we looked past them. We were, it's the Patriots. We want the Patriots, and then we get blown the fuck out by the Jaguars. Like even when we made a run, it wasn't even close. And I think we finished the game only losing by 7 points, but it was never that close. So I think that this is huge playoffs for Tomlin's legacy. And as a head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it's a huge contract situation for Russ because if he doesn't play well and if he doesn't do well, I don't think any team's going to want to sign him. And he might have to stay in Pittsburgh for on a 1-year deal or something. Because I don't see a team that would want to sign him after these last 4 games. And if he goes into his 5th game, this playoff game playing bad, I don't see a team that's going to want to sign him. So we have some more games tomorrow. Really, everything's kind of set. Again, it's Chargers Raiders is one game that's and I think possibly Viking Lions is another important game. Dolphins Jets also. So those are your 3 games that you're going to be watching that have implications on the playoffs. I think everything else is pretty much set. We do know that, and shout out to Big Woke. How you doing today, sir? Hope you're having a great night. Appreciate you stopping by. We know the MVP is a big topic right now in the NFL. We'll talk about that Tuesday. Tuesday we'll have Hendo, Rodney. Looking forward to, and we'll know the matchup if it's the Ravens or if it's the Chargers. We'll know the matchup. So we'll be looking forward to that. We'll be talking the MVP race, all that stuff. Unrival, if you're in the women's not college but women's basketball, Unrival starts soon, so you'll be able to watch that to the WNBA in April, I believe, when they start training camp. So April, May, probably. So get excited for that. If you want to come hang out with me on Twitch, I might play some games tonight. But if you want to come hang out with me on Twitch or TikTok, come hang out with me. You'll see all the names popping up there. That's YouTube. The next one should be TikTok. There's TikTok 323. You can see me live over there. And then the next one should be Twitch. Streamnet 1323. And I have been playing a lot of Fortnite. Marvel's Rivals. If you don't know what Marvel's Rivals is, it's pretty fun. Every once in a while Magic again, but more or less those games. So if you want to come hang out, sometimes I play with Mr. J or J the Six, and some other people. So if you want to come hang out, I'll probably go live tonight just to hang out, play some games. So if you want to come hang out with me, come hang out. Really appreciate it. Come keep me company, laugh, talk crap. You can berate me about the Steelers losing tonight. That's fine. I don't mind. I can take it. Make sure to follow all the links in the description. Myself, Hendo, Bronny, Lunch Break Hot Take, RougPod. Make sure to follow the group of people. Great people over there. Uh, After the season, we're gonna look and see what we're gonna be doing with Still Conspiracy. If you're interested in hosting or being a host, let me know. We'll be doing some shuffling, uh, or I might just keep Hendo and Rodney around, you know, like Deadpool told Wolverine, till you're 90, and I make those two do the show till they're 90. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. But appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight. Appreciate everybody that has commented. Make sure to hit a like, share. So make sure if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Um, I really do appreciate it. It's been a good season. I'm sorry the last couple of weeks we haven't been able to go. I haven't gone live. Um, it has just holidays, things like that. The way everything fell was rough and tough to do. But I will promise you, I am going to do better to give you more lives. I'm going to start doing a little more entertainment stuff, talking movies, things like that. So if you want to come hang out and do that, please let me know. Um, let me know what you guys want to see. But I am going to start talking movies, shows, things like that. Once again, I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I appreciate everybody that's been here since the beginning of the year, hanging out, talking with us, having a good time. Uh, it has been a pleasure doing the show. It has been a pleasure talking to all of you. We're going to continue it next year, no matter what, whether it be with new faces or the same old faces. We're going to keep doing it. I love doing it. I love entertaining you guys, and I love talking Steelers, talking football, talking basketball, talking baseball, talking women's sports, everything you can think of. I love doing it. So once again, I appreciate everybody that came and hang out tonight. I appreciate everybody that has been here all year. You guys have been the best, and I do really appreciate it. So until next time, probably this Tuesday, uh, when we go live on the regular scheduled Still Conspiracy. Like I said, come hang out with me on TikTok or Twitch. I'll probably be going live tonight playing some video games. Other than that, I'll see you guys Tuesday. Thank you, everybody. And as always, let's go Steelers. Good night.
Image, your beats are so fire.